up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. So my channel is supposed to be all about me, everything that reflects who I am. So if you were to ask me what's the theme of my channel, it's about me. That's my theme. So this is something that I want to talk about. Is something that was a really low point in my life, and I still to this day cannot believe it. I hate that I went through the situation, but at the same time, I am grateful because it made me so much stronger in God, and it proved to me that I really trust Him, and I know that He will make a way for me. Everything that I've been through in life is going to be worth it one day. So this really tested my faith and showed me how strong I was, because I would have never thought in a million years that I would be homeless. So I remember, like, back in the day, like before I moved to California and everything, like my mom's sister would be like, well, you know, you need to save X, Y, and Z amount of money and blue. And I'm just like, girl, I need to go there and I need to focus on my career. I can't sit and make excuses and sit and wait for things to happen. I still stand by that to this day. If you want to move to California and focus on your career, go for it. Don't let money stop you. But I feel like if you were to move to California, like, don't solely rely on a 9-to-5 job. You need to have some type of side hustle, whether that's doing Uber, cleaning houses, typing up paper, tutoring, some other source of income, some work from home job or whatever, because you can have a job down there today and tomorrow's a whole nother story, and then you're freaking screwed and you're like, how the fuck am I going to pay rent? You know, like, it gets you so stressed out. And being put in that situation, I was literally stressed out. I've never, like, I am so grateful that I have a family that has money, but I'm the kind of person, I don't like asking people for money, and I don't like asking people for help. I don't care who you are. I could trust you to death, but I don't like to ask for money. I have when I desperately needed it, but I don't, because I don't want anyone to, like, get in my head and distract me or be like, oh, I told you so, or X, Y, and Z, and blah, blah, blah. And my mom's sister was like, you know, you need to save money and anything could happen. I was like, you know what? I believe in God so much that I know I'm going to make it. Like, even if I had to be homeless, like, I would do it because I know that I'm going to make it one day. And it was like I spoke that mess into existence. Like, I spoke it into existence. And I was. And my move to California, like, it was a smooth move. You know, I felt like, yo, I did it the right way. But I should have had, like, some type of backup plan. You know, and not really solely depend on the 9-to-5 job that I had. It seemed like living there, it was like every time I had a moment where it's like I could chill, I could relax, I had some stability, I had a stable job, it was taken from me. And I just kept losing everything. Everything that I had, it kept being taken away from me. So if this is your first time to my channel, hi, welcome. My name's Raven. But I want to tell you guys about my experience being homeless. This is one of the hardest things that I'm going to share with you guys. And I wanted to talk about this before. I filmed it many times, but it's just like, it's really difficult to really open up and talk about it. I was like ashamed that, like, I even let myself get to that point, you know. But it was a learning experience. I always wanted to open a homeless shelter, so it told me what to expect and what to do and what not to do when I open up my own, because like being down there and living, like seeing all these homeless people and all them people who like committed the S word, it used to like get to me. I've seen people literally attempt suicide, and that was stuff I've never seen before. And it's a lot of it's people, they struggling, they trying to make it, but it's just like, yo. And I understood where they were coming from. I never got to the point where like I was suicidal, because I personally don't think God will put you through anything that you can't handle. I just feel like it's a test of faith. And God always showed up and showed out whenever he came and made a way for me. So I am so grateful. Like, I never thought in my life like I would do the S word. So, yeah, but I'm going to talk to you guys about how I felt and like my experience. So how it started, you guys know the story about me moving there. My roommate basically played me, wasn't getting no hours at work anymore. Then I had to leave that apartment because I wasn't on the lease. And then the apartment manager, like, she was like really harassing. And I was like, I don't even want to sign a lease. Not only can I afford to pay everything anymore, like when I first moved there I could have paid everything, but my roommate wanted me to hold off. So now I was like, shoot, what the hell am I going to do, And so I ended up living in my car. So I lived in my car for like a month, and then like a week I only had Niche with me, and Niche stayed with me for a week, and then she ended up moving back to Minnesota. So then I was just like on my own. I would go take a shower at the gym. I spent a lot of time at the gym, and then just out there in general trying to find like another job. I did end up leaving Universal Studios for another job, and so I was like, okay, like this is a good job, like I'm getting money, like I'm working 40 hours a week and I get paid every week. Like I felt like I was doing okay, but I was 2 days away from being there for a month, and then they let me go. And I was like, really, I wasted my time on this. And then that's when it was like I couldn't get a job again until December. This was like all in 2016. December, I ended up getting another job, and I didn't have my car anymore because I couldn't afford it. And in the midst of all this, like I did go home in October, and I had went to work at this haunted house. And so I had made like a nice fat paycheck, working at the haunted house during like Halloween month, like September, October. That's when I was at home. And then I had came back in November because this new hotel was opening up and they wanted to interview me. And I had got interviewed and they loved me. Like I was like one of the main bosses loved me, and I was applying to be a housekeeper or whatever, but he was like, I want you to be do the front desk. I feel like you'd be perfect for the front desk. So I was like, okay. And so then they called me for a second interview, and they were hiring specifically for the housekeeping position. So that's what I was being interviewed for. And I ended up not getting hired. And I was like, dang, like I came back for this, And it was really a good paying job. So I was like, oh shoot. But that's okay. Don't stop. Don't freak out. Yo, I did get hired at a call center. So I was like, okay, $14 an hour, get paid every week, but I was a temp. And I was like, okay, but they talk about it's like it could be a permanent position, and after a few months you could become a permanent employee. Woo, woo. So I was like, okay. So one night in particular, I didn't know where the hell I was going to go. It was literally close to almost me starting this job. I did not know what the hell I was going to do. Some kind of way, I don't even remember how. I think somebody like sent me some money or whatever. I had money and I had somewhere to go for a while. And then I was like, okay, well, let me see if any place can help me as far as finding like a security deposit or whatever, or help me cover the first and second month rent, or if not, just at least them cover the security deposit, and after that, like, I should have like a few paychecks and I could pay like my move-in costs, like the rent portion, and they just pay the security deposit. So I started looking into companies to see if they can help me, and I went to this one place and they had me take a test. And so I had to take the test, and the test was a series of questions asking me like if I was homeless, if I abused drugs and alcohol, did I suffer from any mental health, was I capable of working, did I have a job, whoop whoop. I failed the test, y'all, because I didn't suffer from mental health, I didn't suffer from domestic abuse, I didn't abuse drugs and alcohol. The only thing was I was homeless and I was capable of working. So they were not able to help me. And they told me they were going to follow up with me, you know, if they do find something. And I never heard from them again after that. So they just collected all my information, like my social security, all that stuff. Got a picture of my driver's license for nothing, for them to do literally nothing. So I ended up going into a transitional living place and stayed there for like a few weeks. And actually I had to go to a homeless shelter who ended up referring me to a transitional living place, and I had to get into a program. So when it had hit Christmas weekend, this was of 2016, I had came home from work because I didn't have my car anymore, and I had came home from work, and I used to walk to and from work even if I did have the money, but I was in the process of trying to find another place. So that's why I was like going to the shelter and trying to get in some type of program where I didn't have to pay anything. The first month was like free, and then after that you had to pay every month. I'm waiting on the package. That's not my package. After that, you had to pay like every month, and so I was trying to like save my money and stack it all up so that way I could just like put this all in for my move-in cost to move into an apartment. So I was doing my research, this, that, and the other. I also looked for roommates. I found a potential roommate, and then she was like, okay, like, you can fill out the application and just email it to me. No, I'm going to give that application to the apartment manager. That's what I'm going to do. And she's just started talking about like, well, we're going to be roommates and you should be able to trust me, X, Y, and Z. I said, girl, my social security number will be on that application. I'm not giving that to you. Like, I could trust you in other areas, but that right there is a no. She felt some type of way by that, and I was like, you know what, I'm good. Like, I'm good. So when it came to Christmas weekend, I had walked home from work, and remind you, I had to be up like around 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 the latest, and get to work and be at work by 7 o'clock just to be on time, yo. And so I get to work, and no, I get home from work, and basically like I had to go to the bathroom really bad. My phone was about to die because one thing is I never really had the chance to charge my phone. So I went to charge my phone, and then I went to the bathroom, and I came back and I noticed my phone was gone, and I'm like, what the heck? So I went to the lady at the front desk for her to tell me that such and such had came and took the phones. Everything that's plugged up, she took it. And she was like, you're not going to get it back to Tuesday. And I think Christmas was like on Sunday or Monday. I'm not sure. I don't remember. And I'm like, what? Like, it's Friday. Like, so you trying to tell me I'm going to be without my phone for 4 days? Like, something that you have access to right now where you could just easily give it back to me. You up here trying to tell me I gotta wait until Tuesday when a whole nother lady comes in. So I went to go find this lady, and I was like, did you take my phone? And she was like, yup, I sure did. And I was like, who with the attitude? And so she just started going on this spiel about how you can't have nothing plugged up after 8 o'clock. I said, look, I just got up here in this program and I didn't know anything about it. And she was like, when did you get in here? And I was like, I told her today. And she was like, well, the rule says X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to give it back to you this time, but it's not going to happen again. And she was like, so you could go back to your bed and I'll give it to you when I feel like it. It had to be like 45 minutes later. That's when she came and gave me my phone back. And then she went on this whole speech about like when 8 o'clock comes, the walls belong to her. If you have anything plugged up, she's taking it and you're not getting it back, or you won't get it back until the next day. I said, if it happens again, best believe I'm calling the police. And the only reason I got out of it was because I told her I just got into the program. I didn't know the rules, and I walk to work, and I walk every day, and I work every day. So that's the only reason I got my phone back, right? So I'm like, heck no, I can't do this anymore. And so the next morning, I got my shit, and that's when I went to a freaking, what's that called? Airbnb. And I stayed living in the Airbnb the entire time. I said, hell no. Because I'm trying to get my shit together and get my stuff and figure it out and try to move. And you're making it so difficult. Like, what the freak, yo? So I was really mad. Fast forward, I ended up like, yo, I tried so hard to go and look for an apartment, but I had a hard time going to find an apartment because I was always at work. Whenever I was off, everything was closed. From the time I had to be at work usually at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't get off until 5. Or sometimes if it wasn't that, then I would have to work from 8 to 8. Like, I was literally working about 50 hours a week. No lie. Like, no cap, you guys. And so, and that wasn't on purpose. That was just how the job was. So I really had time to do nothing. And whenever I was like at home, that I would go to sleep. Like, I was literally always asleep. So that's how I got to the point where I ended up meeting Rachel, because she was staying at the same Airbnb with me. So we became cool, we became close friends, and we started working together, especially when we both left the Airbnb. I left the Airbnb because I had ended up losing my job. My contract ended, and I couldn't afford that area anymore. It was in Hollywood by the Walk of Fame, and they went up on prices because it's spring and everybody's coming into town. So I'm like, shoot. Rachel, same thing. She was like, I can't afford it anymore. So after that, I went to other Airbnbs. There was times I snuck her into Airbnbs, and sometimes she'd just pay for it for a couple of days, and then after that she didn't have no money, and so she would stay with me. Like, we was just working together as a team. And then when we didn't have anything for sure and we didn't know where we were going to go, then she had he wasn't really her talent manager. He was helping her before she actually signed the contract. And so she had went to him, and he said that we can go and spend the night there. So that's what we were doing. We had went there at this talent agency, well, talent management, and we would sleep there, and then we had to be up by 6 o'clock and out the door. And then we would go back about our day or whatever. And so I'm like, okay. So we were relying solely on doing like audience work, and we were couch hopping. We were going to friends' houses, mostly just so we could have a place to stay or whatever. Like, she ended up meeting this one guy. He was like cool with helping us out because he lived in a motel. They have those things in motels down there in LA, like a efficiency type thing, and you could stay there and you had to pay every week. So that's where he was staying. We would go there, we would stay with him. whatever. Like, we did whatever we had to, but a lot of time it was mostly me booking like the Airbnbs. Eventually she ended up moving into a place which was a student housing, and I was living in the Airbnb. I was fine. I had money coming in and everything was literally good until we get to the summertime. So audience work was super slow. I didn't have no money coming in. I did not know what the hell I was going to do. I was like freaking out because I'm like, yo, why is it nothing? Like, it'd be like 1 or 2 days a week now where it was like work or doing audience work. And so I was just like, huh, what the heck? Also too, like, I had all my stuff stolen. I had my social security, not my social security card, my birth certificate, literally majority of my clothes stolen. So around that time I went to the BET Awards, that's when all that stuff had got stolen. I literally had nothing but like a few pairs of clothes. So I was like, what the freak? So at this point, I started doing, what is those called? Selling them Obama phones. And that was like some type of income that was coming in. Rachel and I, we wasn't even talking anymore. And then eventually, like, the money that was coming in for the Obama phones was kind of slow. So then I had to go back to being in the transitional living program. And it was torture. I ended up meeting this girl, whole bitch. I'm gonna tell y'all a story about her later. And after that, like, me and her, we was couch hopping. So I ended up meeting this one girl. I actually met her prior, like around the BT time, like a little bit before that I met her. So this lady was, I think, a compulsive liar. She looked like she was like 70 something years old, but she was saying she was 24. And I'm like, there's no way in the world that you're younger than me. There's no freaking way. Because I was 20, I think I was 20, I was turning 26. So, that's when I had met her. So I was like, there's no way. There's no freaking way. She's like, I'm about to be 25, blah, blah. And I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, she had gray hair, y'all. She had old lady hands, old lady neck. The way she talked, like, was old school. She dressed like old school. I mentioned her prior, I think, on this channel. But, like, everything about her was so old school. And I'm just like, there's no way. There's no freaking way. So me and her had got booked to go sit in the audience of a show. I put her on to doing the audience work. We both got booked for the same show. And the show ended like a little bit later than usual. And so the show didn't end, I think, until like around 8. And then we had to wait in line to get our cash. So after that, we ended up going back to the transitional living home. And so we get there. They didn't want to let us in because they were like, you're late. Because they had a curfew. They had a curfew of 7 and they had one of 9. And they were like, you got to go do the whole process again. So come back in the morning and get back in the program. I'm like, wow, like, that's crazy, yo. Like, it's crazy. Like, where the heck am I supposed to sleep or whatever? Luckily, I had some money, so I was like, okay, I'm about to book me an Airbnb. So I'm going to look. Yes, the place that I usually stay at, they're available. Like, you know, we got time, because it was like around like 10:30 or something, almost 11. So I'm like, I still have time to go ahead and book it, right? So she was asking me like how to download the app, and I was showing her, told her the website, boop boop. She had to set up a profile. This is when the issue occurred, right? So It told her to upload a profile picture. She had a problem with uploading a profile picture because she was like, why they need that for? Why they asking for too much information? They're asking for too much. I don't want to do that. I don't feel comfortable. I don't want my information out there to anybody like that. I was like, the profile picture is just so they can know who's entering into their house. And they also have the right to deny you to stay at their place as well. So it's for security purposes that they have a profile picture of you. She did not want to do it, okay? I'm like, yo, like, it's not a big deal. I stayed at Airbnbs before. I've been safe, like, never had a problem. The only time I had a problem was one of the Airbnbs that I had stayed at when my stuff got stolen. That was it, y'all. But other than that, the one that I was trying to go to, they had two beds of it. Excuse me. They had 2 beds available, yo. So she was just not for it. And I was like, then what are you going to do? And she was like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm the kind of person, like, I don't want to leave anybody behind. Like, you know, like, that would be real fucked up of me. And I was like, I just can't leave her outside by herself. Like, what are we going to do? So I was like, well, do you want to get a motel? Because I didn't book the Airbnb. I was about to, but she had asked me for help. So she was like, yeah, we could do that. So I ended up booking a motel. It was one that was the closest to us, but it was still a good distance. And we had to ride the train a little bit. And the buses, the bus that we had to get on was like, I don't know. I don't think it was running anymore. It was like too late or something. I think we missed the bus or something. I don't even remember. But we had to end up walking. And so after we got off the train, we started walking, woo, woo, woo. And then the navigation had said turn left. So I turned left. We're in an area, barely have any signal. My phone is close to dying. So mind you, I said at the transitional living home, I never really got to charge my phone. Never really had the opportunity to charge my freaking phone. It was never full. It was always half full. So I went, right? And luckily I had it. I don't know. So anyways, we walk in, we see a motel with a similar name, but it wasn't the one we were at. So we kept walking some more, and then we was walking for a long time. It was dark and everything. Our feet was starting to hurt. I'm like, shoot, like, man. We ended up stopping at a laundromat, and we asked somebody, and they told us it was back the other way. And so we walked back the other way, and then we were stopped by some people, and they were like, why are y'all wearing red? Because we were in the Crip territory, and we both were wearing red. Coincidentally, we both was wearing red dresses. And we were just like, oh, we went to a show, whoop, whoop. And they were like, y'all must not be from around here. Like, not at all. And then she was like, what are you looking for? And I told them, and they was like, that's going back that way. And they let us go. They let us go, yo. So we ended up finding the motel, and we had a fucking issue at the motel, right? So I told them, I was like, yo, I booked a reservation for Raven. They were like, it's no reservation here for you. I was like, huh? Like, I could give you the confirmation number as I paid and everything. And then he was like, what is that? So now I had to connect to get on the internet, right? In this motel, I did not have no signal. And my phone was about to shut off. So I'm just like, shoot, come on. Like, you know, when you're trying to get a signal, wasn't working. So I was like, can I see your phone real quick? So she gave me her phone, and having a hard time because I have to confirm like the password. Yahoo be doing too much sometimes. So I had to get a text message, and I'm like, my phone already shut off, like it's dead. So then I had to cut it back on. Luckily, I got the confirmation. I mean, my and then until I got the confirmation, bruh, and I told him the order number. He was like, oh, okay. He was like, the reason why is because you didn't pay. I said, I did pay. He was like, oh, no. He was like, okay, no, this is what he said. He said, okay, I pulled it up. Got it. I said, okay. He's like, can I see your card and like your ID and everything? And so I gave it to him. And then he was like, your card declined. And I was like, I already paid. He was like, your card declined. I was like, I paid already. I have the confirmation and everything. He was like, you did not pay. I said, yes, I did. I said, I paid $60-something or whatever, right? He was like, oh, that's why. And that's why we couldn't find it either, because you only paid some dollars. There is $100 security deposit. So total, you would have had to pay 160. I think it was like 167 or 68, something like that. And I'm like, what? He was like, yeah. I was like, it didn't say nothing about no security deposit. He was like, well, I know for a fact Booking.com says like you have to pay. I was like, I didn't book through Booking.com. I booked it through Hotel.com, and it didn't say that. He was acting so dumb because he kept talking about Booking.com. I said, okay, just forget it. Give me my money back. Like, refund it. So he refunded me my money, and then by this time, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we had nowhere to go. So we ended up walking all the way back towards Union Station. And so that's where we ended up staying at. Like, that night we just literally sat there, and I was just like, I couldn't believe that this was the lowest point where I literally, like, I never like not had somewhere to go like that, you know. And I was just like, wow, like, man, like I could have called one of my friends or went there or something, you know. I could have went to Airbnb, whatever, but like this girl, like, looking out for people, like, because she was too scared to upload her profile picture. I had nowhere to go. Like, I was, no, bruh. So anyways, after that, I ended up getting a job at Target, right? So I went to this place because I heard in the transitional home, I had met this girl who told me she was getting ready to move into her apartment. And she said this whole process was like literally less than 2 weeks. She told me to go to this place that's like on Slauson in downtown LA. I went down there, and like, guys, I walked there too. I walked 2 hours there and 2 hours back for them not to freaking help me. They tell me, oh, well, since you're staying in such and such area, you will have to go to our other location, which is that one. And so I was like, okay. So when I get to that one, they're closing. They're not letting no more people in. So I'm like, so the next day I came, and they were like, you have to take a TB test in order to come in. And then I'm like going inside, and I'm like, what is this? Like, because it was, and y'all, let me tell you, it was on freaking Skid Row. I should have turned around and walked out, y'all. I should have, but I didn't. So I went there because I was trying to see if they can help me get like some move-in costs for a place, because this was something else, or like help me get a low-income apartment, something, yo. They could not help me. Again, I took the test, and I failed again this test. And do you know what they can offer me? The best that they could freaking offer me was the Russ Motel in Skid Row. And try to sit and say, but because you're not making no money, woo woo. Like, what? There's people making less than what I do, and you're telling me that you can't help me? You can't help me find a place to live? like help me get a security deposit, something like what? That it literally made no sense, right? So again, I'm still staying here at this freaking transitional living place. I am like tired of being here. I honestly, one night, it was my straw, y'all. Like it was the last straw. So I had came home from work. I didn't get off work until 11:30 at night. I get there around 12:40 in the morning for them to deny me access in. They tell me I need to come back, do the process all over again. They did not want to let me in. I was like, yo, what the hell, yo? And I was literally in my work uniform. Like, he was like, I have to ask my manager. His manager was like, is she in any programs? He's answering all the questions, asking about me, asking about my information. His boss, by the way, was a security guard. He said no. He told me no to come back in the morning at 7 o'clock. So I'm like, thank God for this guy, okay? He was like, you know what? You just got off work. I've been in a similar situation. I'm going to let you in. Let me in. I was able to sleep in the bed, y'all. Like, I was good. I'm like, why they acting like they're freaking, I don't know, shelter or something? It was really like, yo, I'm literally trying to get myself together and get out of the situation, and y'all making it so freaking difficult. Literally, quickly, you guys, I was able to save my paychecks, and I paid for my spot in that house that I was living in by myself. And that's how it was like good. I was like, fine, whatever. And things was going AWOL. I was like, okay, I'm done with that whole program. Obviously, if you're homeless, they don't want to help you. Their goal is to keep you in that situation or try to get you in Skid Row in that area and make money off of you because they were constantly taking my information. So I'm just like, yo, like that's bull crap, y'all. So I moved into that house and everything was going good until we had the issue with the landlord, and then I had nowhere to go. And last year I had started living in the Airbnb again, and then I ended up going to Arizona for 6 months. Yeah, so that was pretty much my homeless experience. Went to Arizona for 6 months, now Atlanta, and everything is good now. Like, everything is good. So I mean, will I go back to LA? I'm pretty sure I would, but my advice to anyone who is thinking about moving to LA, have a backup plan as far as the job goes, yo. And don't solely rely on one source of income because but yeah, I probably would move back to LA because Atlanta for me is a no offense to anybody that lives in Atlanta, but I'm not really, I don't know, maybe because like coming from LA to Atlanta and not auditioning as much as I used to, it's just really like, it's draining my energy. So yeah, but that's pretty much my whole story about being homeless, guys. If you've been homeless, definitely let me know in the comments your experience. And thank God I'm never getting that situation again. But yeah, that's it. Bye.